Okay, we're in the Pathways of Discipline, Chapter 12, the Sefer of the Yanuka. Let's go. Ikar koach hasitra acha shehi sitra deshicha k'muva b'zohar. The main power and the force of the dark side, the other side, the evil side, which is the side of forgetfulness, as explains in the Zohar, it's because this dark side, this dark force, pulls its vitality from the end of days, from the final result of humanity. That's where it's getting its life force from. What does that mean? Let's see. And this is why the dark side, the dark force, is called the end of all flesh. Kamuva b'Zohar Noach, as it says in in the Zohar and Parshat Noach. Ki hi docha es hamachshava al soif hamaaseh. V'keshe'ein oiskim b'soif hamaaseh ma'akvin ha'geula. Because this dark force pushes thoughts, it delays our thoughts regarding the end of days, of what's going to happen, or the outcome of reality, or the outcome of our actions, or just what will be. And when we're not involved in what will be, when we're not in sync with where we're heading or what's happening in reality or where we're going, that delays the redemption. So the dark force gets us to not think or not understand, where are we going? Where is this all heading? And when we don't think about that, we actually delay where we're heading. Part of where we're heading is self-manifestation. We got to know about the redemption to actually bring the redemption to a degree. Let's see. And therefore, because this dark side, dark force, gets us to not be preoccupied with where we're heading, this dark side, dark force, draws life force from us, from our holiness, and that's where it exists from. The dark side lives off of our vitality and our holiness, and it steals it from us by getting us to be preoccupied with the now, with quick fixes. I want this, I need that donut, whatever your thing is that you're just distracting you from the main goal. That's what's also nourishing the dark side. It's kind of scary to think about it, but yeah, dark side gets nourished from us being forgetful about what's happening in reality. Because forever, and in reality, the life force and the strength of this dark side pulls itself from the end, from the final moments of reality, from the end of days. And this was also the main thing about the battle with Amalek. Remember when the Israelites left Egypt, the first thing that happened was a nation attacks them, the Amalekites. Are you crazy? The sea just split. We just took out Egypt and you're going to come attack us? But who did they attack? They attacked the tribe of Dan, the tribe of Dan. And they were the end of the camp of the Israelites. The Israelites had this whole camp, and who was in the back of it? The tribe of Dan. Why was the tribe of Dan in the back? It says they were the lost and found guys. You ever go to a concert? Such a concept called I don't know what it's called, a lot score, or something like a lot find. It's when the whole festival leaves, all the poor people walk around, or not even the poor people, just the smart people, and they look on the floor. What did everyone drop? That's where they find the good drugs and the good, whatever you're going to find. Not that I've ever done this, but I know people who have done it. And so the tribe of Dan stayed in the back of the camp of the Israelites. So when anyone lost something or dropped it, they would pick it up, and there'd be a lost and found for the Israelites. So since they were in the back of the camp, the end of the camp, that's who the Amalekites attacked first. And remember, Amalek is gematria, numerical value of safek, of doubt. Tries to get us to forget where we're going, what's going on. So just like the dark force takes itself from the end of days, Amalek went to the end of the camp. And this is the war that Amalek fights on all humans until even today. Because Amalek will claim and make you convinced and try to get in your brain and mess with you that you're far from any relevance of any thought that has to do with God's greatness. You're not with God, bro. You're not close to God. Stop thinking you can understand God. Dude, you're out. And it convinces you that you can't contemplate the greatness, the loftiness of God. May He be blessed. And that you're not on a level that you could have a connection to thoughts of holiness and elevated consciousness. You can't connect to this guy. Amalek's going to try to mess with you, phase your chill. And it's going to stop you from thinking about the honor and the name of God who rules over all of heaven and earth. And it will enter into a human these logical rationalization thoughts that before you do any of these lofty things, you got to know a lot of Torah. You got to be a master of Torah. So who are you to try to connect to God without being a master of Torah yet? So first, if you want to connect to God, only then you have to be considered and think of yourself, and the world has to think of you that you're a doer of charity, of righteousness. You're a tzaddik. That the world calls you a tzaddik. The world thinks you're a tzaddik. That you look like a tzaddik. Only then can you connect to God, not before. That's what he tries to convince you. And then only will your thoughts be worthy to do the service and the will of the Holy One, and to unite the Holy One in His name and His holiness and His Shekhinah and divine presence and bring it all together. You want to do all that? You can't. You got to be a tzaddik first. Don't bother. That's what the dark force tries to convince you. Whew, this is great news, because if it's the other way around, us regular humans are in luck. And this is all because the main nourishment and life force that the dark side gets is from the end, from like where we're heading, and which is its inception of where we're heading is actually in the beginning, in your thought now. Like what you think now determines where we're heading. So he tries to mess with you, not to understand where we're heading. And this is like the main battle going on here. This is like the battle on planet Earth. The Harry Potter dark side, light side. The Lord of the Rings dark side, light side. That whole battle is happening with us today in our narratives. Excuse me. In the light of this, the main power and life force that we have to cancel out the venom that was entered inside of us from the snake, from Adam and Eve, and this dark side, this dark force from the world. How do we rid it from the world? All we have to do is contemplate the end and the purpose and where we're heading of all of creation in the beginning, in our thoughts now. Don't wait for the redemption to come. Understand that the redemption is coming. Don't wait for the world to wrap up. Understand that it will wrap up. Once we sync our reality with where we're heading, we cancel out the power of the dark side. Ki Amalek mapil ala adam pachad. Because the Amalekites, or this force of Amalek, brings upon humanity fear. V'chashash al yidei machshkiach mimenu esaketz. The fear and the worry that we have that comes by us forgetting the end of days, of where we're heading. Shutachlis hatoiv shia bria, which is the purpose and all of the good of all creation. Like everyone's like, oh, God is with us? No, we've been suffering for thousands of years. You forgot where we're heading, and it's going to be so epic. Those thousands of years will be like a dream, and everyone that died will get reincarnated and come back. It's all good. Just focus on where we're going. Stop focusing on the past. Don't dwell and ruminate and loop in your thoughts the should-haves or the could-haves or the would-haves. No, sync yourself with where we're going. And when we contemplate on the past, we lose it. But when we contemplate on the future of where we're heading, we cancel the force of the dark side. Bro, you hate evil? You don't like evil? You want to fetch and complain about it? No. Do something about it. Just focus on where we're going. We got this. Let's go. I love you all very much. Thank you for tuning in today. Have a wonderful day. Over and out.